Hello and welcome to this episode of In Business. I have with me an excellent panel of speakers, all of them stakeholders and practitioners in an art that we consume almost every day. It's an art which very much lives with us. It's a part of our life. It's a part of our being. And we're talking of the culinary arts, which needs to get that pride of place, not just on our tables, but in our hearts and in our businesses and in the way of life that we lead. Today, this is a special discussion on a very unique institute and a college called the Kamaxi College of Culinary Arts. It's unique because it actually offers a 3-year course. It's a B school of culinary arts, as it were. It offers a 3-year degree course in culinary management. And of course, it's affiliated with the Goa University and a collaboration with the Goa Institute of Management. And also, I think this is probably one of the first institutes that fulfills the dual objective, as it were, to train people to, of course, work in the cruise liners and all that. Of course, that is very much there. But it also prepares a huge ecosystem of the next generation of chefs who will all go out in the big wide world and kind of ply their trade, as it were. I have with me senior professionals from the industry. I'll first start with Chef Patrick Albert, who's the head chef of the faculty, and he handles the courses, as it were. Welcome, Chef. Next to him is Chef Sunit Sharma, who's a very senior hospitality professional, and he's here to speak about the trade itself and what it has to offer. And right next to him is the CEO of the Kamaxi Group, Siddharth Savkur, who's a very well-known and a senior professional in the industry. He's been the general manager of several hotels and done many projects, not just in Goa, but across the country and even internationally. Welcome, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll first start with you, Chef Sunit, to talk generally about the culinary arts as an art and what it could mean for careers.
See, it's not just an art. As we say, kitchen, cooking, being a chef is an art and science put together. You need to apply your mind and your heart. So that's why it's a science as well as an art. And the scope is huge. Right now, we are having a dearth of skilled manpower in our industry across various streams, not just particularly among chefs, but not just in the kitchen, but also in other departments and across the whole wide world. And in future, it's getting even more difficult to get trained and passionate people. Why I said the dearth will be much more is because though people are being going to colleges, they are learning the trade, but the skill set that is coming out of the colleges and out of the institutes is not as desired, and the passion is also lacking. So if we can put both into the young students and get them to the industry, that will be the best.
Okay, Chef, I'll just come back to you. I'll just go to Siddharth first. Siddharth, you obviously are heading this group and looking at its growth prospects. What makes Kamaxi so exciting when for people getting into the hospitality sector?
So, I'll start with our origin. Essentially, we started about 18 years back as a recruitment firm. When we talk to clients from the recruitment side, we realize the sheer dearth of, like Chef mentioned, of trained chefs. One was the trained in terms of college education, etc. The other one was employability.
Right.
It became very quickly apparent that while someone might be trained, they're not necessarily employable. So that's how our journey into culinary education and skill development happened. So, and from there came KCCA, Kamaxi College of Culinary Arts, because if we are able to have a control over what kind of skills industry wants and deliver those skills at the college level, automatically you're improving the employability of that candidate.
Right.
I think what makes us exciting is that we're in that sense an end-to-end provider. We are bringing in students passionate about a career in culinary.
Right.
We're training them with skills that are relevant in today's industry, and then we're able to then offer them, a placement to start their career.
And it's a proper degree.
It's a proper degree,
which is important.
affiliated to the Goa University.
Right.
And what's also, for me, I went to hotel school and I know the kind of curriculum that hotel schools have. What excites me here is it's completely relevant to what hotels, cruises, restaurants, both India and abroad, would look for. So the learnings, period once you get a job is significantly reduced because you already have those skills.
Also, what is interesting is that the elephant in the room in this industry and many others was COVID for the last 2-3 years, and which really kind of dumbed down a lot of passion and ambition as well. And we look back to a period when most of our boys and girls were returning back from the ships. Their jobs were on a pause mode and they didn't know what to do. Do you think it is also a challenge to get that confidence back in the young people to invest in this as a career as well?
Well, there is no denying that the pandemic created obstacles and challenges and situations that none of us had anticipated in our working lives. However, if you look at the situation today, a career in culinary, whether on sea, on land, in India, overseas, you talk to any hospitality professional anywhere in the world, one common refrain is there is a shortage of skilled manpower.
Right.
And that's anticipated to continue over the next few years. I read a recent article from the US Department of Labor. The shortfall in chefs, or to put it another way around, the increase in the number of chefs that they require in the workforce is anticipated to be 25% every year till about 2030. Every year, a quarter of the workforce is going to increase, in the chef's world.
Right.
For anyone young and wanting to start their career today, I mean, that's a pretty rosy picture.
And the industry can
for
absorb
the future.
that.
Can absorb that.
Yeah. Okay.
Pandemic having had the impact that it has, I think the way forward looks, touch wood, quite bright.
Just adding to that, talking about the pandemic, one of the fastest bounce back also has happened only in the hospitality sector.
Right.
Not across the whole world, but especially in the resort towns and places like Goa.
Right.
Fastest bounce back as well. So people have been called back to work.
And the optimism lies
Optimism is there itself.
Right. Chef Patrick, you are obviously the guru there, the master, and you're the one who trains. Of course, we will get into the kind of courses that you offer and all that, but I wanted you to speak a little bit about the X factor that you put in terms of your basic philosophy. What do you teach and what do you inculcate, which goes beyond the syllabus and the course?
So, put it that way. I was 25 years on a ship, and I was getting the crew to come to work on a ship. So they were liking some technique and cuisine. So now I'm at the base, so I can input in the class what they need to know to be able to work on a ship. Because rightfully, like they say, technique, sometimes you learn a technique, but it is okay for an hotel, but it's not okay for a ship. Sometimes that makes sense.
Right, of course it does. No, absolutely it does. No, I know the philosophy in the sense, but also what happens is in India you would be having a lot of young people, boys and girls who are coming in who are raw, who do not know how to go about things. So tell us a little bit about how you kind of shape them into diamonds, as it were.
So how to shape them into diamond? Well, first I introduce them slowly to the cuisine. But what I try to show them is quickly how to do something. Because sometimes, if you only go basic and you make them cut vegetable for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, then you start to cut the fish, then you start to cut the chicken, they lose their passion.
Right.
So sometimes you make them cut a little bit this, you make them prepare a fish, and suddenly, okay, we're going to make a dish out of that. And then you're going to have a very enjoyable dish. And what we do in the school as well, everything they cook is what's going to be their lunch.
Right.
So they progressively go to the next step, and make sure I try to show them the magic in cooking, because for me sometimes it's magic. You take 3 or 4 ingredients and you come out with something enjoyable.
Right. And tell us a little bit more about the kind of courses that you offer. What do you offer in the first year? What do you offer in the second year? What do you offer in the third year?
Well, if they do the B work, in the first 6 months they do continental. After that they do Indian for the next semester. And then I will have to give it to you because don't remember exactly all the,
Yeah, Siddharth, please take
last
over
4 semester.
and complete
Well,
that.
okay. Let me tell you about what the course broadly covers without breaking it down into year 1, year 2, and year 3. We call the program a degree in culinary management versus there are other places that say culinary arts. We consciously went with that nomenclature because over the course of 3 years, chef mentioned continental, and that's where his specialty comes in, and he prepares them to have a strong base in continental cuisine.
Right.
But we do touch on Indian cuisine, for example, Goan included. We touch on regional cuisines from other parts of the world. But in later years, in the second and third year, we also get into entrepreneurship, marketing, including social media marketing, in-depth accounting that is relevant to the restaurant F&B business. You talk about menu engineering, you talk about dealing with different stakeholders when you run your business. The idea is to create a culinary professional that can either get a job in a hotel, on a cruise, in a restaurant, or run their own F&B business.
Right.
And in the world of F&B, that definition is becoming broader by the year because there's so much more happening in the world of F&B than just work in a place.
Correct.
Or even wear a chef uniform. There are different things that one can do with a culinary base.
Right.
So that's really the end goal.
Okay, but you obviously kind of have different silos for year 1, year 2, year 3.
Yes, we do.
Which, okay.
Like I mentioned, we're affiliated to Goa University.
Right.
So the entire curriculum is actually vetted by the university.
Okay, and who conducts the exams? I mean, in the sense, after every year you have some kind of a review system or an exam or some kind of an assessment, right?
Yes.
So
both written and theory.
Yeah. Okay.
They're conducted by the college.
Okay.
But they're sort of vetted by or ratified by the university.
Right. Okay. And this degree obviously kind of puts you in good stead to go out and apply and
Absolutely.
And get people. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's as recognized as any other degree.
And when is the first batch finishing?
So we started the course about 6 months back.
Right.
So it's a very new.
Right.
We have 2 intakes a year.
I see.
The first intake actually happened 6 months back.
Right.
And the second intake is from July onwards.
Okay.
So early days for us, but the first batch is 6 months old.
Okay. And if we look at a geographical intake, in the sense that do you have a broad picture of from where the students are coming from, which part of the country they come from?
Well, the course itself is new, like I said.
Right.
But even from the batch already in, and even more interestingly, the kind of queries we're getting now for the next intake.
Right.
It's interesting to see the parts of India or the parts of the country that people are actually coming from. We're getting queries from the eastern parts of India, North India, and North India, even tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So not so much, Delhi, NCR, etc.
Right.
We're seeing queries from parts of South India.
Okay.
I would say one of the interesting trends is the interest in smaller towns or students from smaller towns for a career in culinary.
Right.
And I think that augurs really well for the business.
Sure. Chef Sunit, taking off from where he left off about the fact that this kind of a degree does not kind of bind you down to a hotel chain or a particular restaurant, and a lot of people are going solo and doing freelancing. Of course, you are a veteran and you're probably doing it now, but the ecosystem is such and the landscape is such that you can probably do it even when you're starting out. So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to kind of start off and be on his or her own?
See, I have spoken to the officials here at the college and heard the curriculum, and I was very excited to hear it. Where it's not a typical culinary management course. It is where it is being taught to be an entrepreneur, to think not just as a chef but as a business person as well. Things that we probably in our generation learned while on the trade, while doing years and years, and if we had kept our minds open only, we could learn that. Otherwise, when you're typically in a business format in the hotel industry, restaurant, cruise line, or anywhere, you're just managing the kitchen, which is directly food preparation, food sale to a little extent, and food presentation, which is the middle part of it.
Correct.
But the business aspect of it, as in how to get it, from where to get it, at what cost to get it, and how to then price it up, how to market it well, is the wholesome journey.
Correct.
And if that exposure, that kind of training comes in the college itself, you don't need to work typically for number of years in hotels and restaurants to learn that and then do it yourself.
Correct.
I probably, did many years of service before I learned those various aspects, and then I turned into consultancy.
Right.
Here, you have a shortcut, I would say. You learn it faster, you see it, and you learn the theory as well.
I mean,
you don't have
didn't
to.
have colleges like KCCA.
We didn't have it. Our course was a very general management course where we had to pick up our trade and then learn on the way.
Right. Okay.
This, I think, it's a better step and definitely a brighter future for the kids who are studying here.
Right. Chef, to you now. You spoke about the kind of courses and what you bring in. Another aspect of the whole thing is to prepare them for maybe jobs internationally, because at the end of the day, they are not just competing for jobs here.
Exactly.
Many of them are looking at the big wide world and competing with very good talent from Europe, maybe Latin America, Australia, wherever else, the Southeast Asia, and so on and so forth. So, what are you putting into the course to ensure that they are internationally ready as well? Because that's what a lot of people aim at.
So what do I put into the course? I start my course with what they have already, and actually add up some of what in my country I'm French, of course. Sorry for the accent.
No problem.
And I bring inside where we teach our French chef as well. Okay.
Right.
But I don't bring it as a recipe. I bring it as a technique. I want them to have all the base of the technique, because when I arrive in a country, no matter how you make a stew, the stew will be the same. It's going to be a curry in India, but it's going to be a casserole in England. It's going to be a fricassee in Europe. So it's going to be. They need to understand that technique, because after that, when they arrive anywhere they arrive in the world, they'll be ready for it. They will only need to get little twinkle right there, with the produce, and that's what it is. And then what I do as well, I go around Goa and I find some produce. The other day I find some mushroom. I call them bole. Nobody could give me the name yet. I found some bole mushroom, and everybody was surprised when I bring them into school and I teach them how to prepare them. Okay, so when I put this on Facebook, I say, guys, to all my French chefs I know around the world, I say, I'm preparing bole, And I say, but it is not the season. I say, not in your country. I'm in India, because it is not the season in France,
yes.
but it's season in India. And I was very surprised when I see them on the side of the road, and I bought all the basket from that lady, and she was very happy about it. But then I was very happy myself to be showing that technique, because even some French cooks are not now. They probably don't know how to prepare this mushroom.
Right.
And I know. I have nine of them in India who know how to do it.
And your students know how to do it, yes.
Yeah, and that makes me proud. And you should have seen their face when they prepare it, and they prepare chicken fricassee with it. And they got the flavor and the smell, and the guy say, oh, it smells very good. I say, yeah. And they enjoy to eat it.
You're making us all very hungry.
The only one who got to taste it was, sorry.
Chef, also another interesting aspect, I'll just stick with you and then move to the others as well. See, what happens is, being in Goa, do you think that there's a slight advantage being in Goa? Because what happens is, Goa itself lends itself to so much of international exposure. There are so many specialty restaurants. People from all over the world come here, and so you get exposed to far more international cuisine in Goa than you would in most other places in India.
I have not been all over India yet. Yes?
No, I'm talking about
Goa, for me, is perfect. I'm really enjoying myself, because I can find most of the produce. The food is fantastic. I enjoy the food all around the place.
Right.
And I will always remember my first dal I eat in Goa. I enjoyed it was my first night, and I was offered a dal.
Right.
And I said, oh, no, I don't want the dal, it's too spicy, I'm going to die with that.
Right. Okay.
I said, no, try it. So I tried it, and it was fabulous. And my first reply was to text to all my Indian friends in India who work on a ship, and I said, guys, you never make a dal like that to me before. And they were very upset about it. I said, but you're in India. That's why I say, yeah. But this one is way better than what I used to get.
Get to hear that.
So you see what I mean? I really enjoy that part.
But also to what you were asking, Chef, about Goa being having the advantage of location.
Yes.
Like I was saying earlier, a lot of our students come from outside Goa. And while they might come to Goa for the course, they can actually choose to intern anywhere.
I see.
We still find
Okay.
that a lot of our students intern in Goa itself.
I see, right.
So it's another 6 months or so extra away from family, away from friends, etc.
But they're okay to.
But they're okay to do that. And when you
Right.
talk to them, and Chef actually goes every Saturday to the hotels where they're interning,
Right.
just to catch up with them and see how they're shaping up. The experiences they have, just the sheer volume of knowledge that they're soaking in because of Goa and its diverse mix.
Correct.
You're handling a wedding sometimes, you're handling a conference, you're handling an international traveler, an Indian traveler. You've got all of those, competing with each other for your attention.
Correct.
I think it shapes your experience exponentially.
Yeah, I'll dwell a little bit more on that in a minute. Chef Sunit, see, the same question that I was asking him on how Goa lends itself to this. See, though the college is based here and the students get into the society and they get into the business aspect of it as well. How do you kind of compare Goa with other metros and other places in the country in terms of enhancing your skills in this profession?
I think Goa is competing, if not surpassing the other metro cities and other places.
Is it? Okay.
To live and work.
Right.
Especially in hospitality, because there is ample scope of hospitality employability here in Goa. Various departments, not just in kitchen, but all across. So hospitality will and is and will remain, I think, booming in Goa. And compared to other cities, as during the pandemic it went down, it has not come up the way Goa.
That's right.
Bounced back.
Goa's bounced back.
So I would suggest Goa has a big advantage, and so much so that if your quality of life is good after work, people would want to live here itself.
Correct.
After studying, so it becomes like, after your native place, this could become your native place.
Correct.
I mean, for me, I give my example. I've been here 10 years.
Right.
I call myself a Goan today.
Right.
I worked in various metros abroad.
Right.
But finally, when I came to Goa, I said, this is a better place to live and work in.
Right. Siddharth, tell us a little bit more about the arrangement or the relationship with the Goa Institute of Management and also the Fierce Kitchens, the incubator that you have. So if you can just enlighten and expand on that a little bit.
So Goa Institute of Management has a tie-up with the Atal Incubation Center, which is a center-supported initiative based out of JIM here in Goa. We work with them to create and to offer a unique concept of culinary incubation. So at our university, at our institute here in Verna, we have a Fierce Kitchens, like a
brand
unit.
A unit.
What we do is we encourage entrepreneurs who want to create a startup in the food space with all the skills that they require. The technical skills, the financial skills, the business management aspect of it, relationship, marketing, everything that an entrepreneur juggles with, but devoted to culinary businesses.
Okay. So these are people who don't need to take the 3-year course. It's a separate.
This is completely separate.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is more, I would call it more of a social initiative.
Right.
To offer a platform or a bit of a hands, support to people who want to start a career. And we have, we had the first batch about 6-8 months back.
Right.
We've had home cooks. We've had students with a business idea. We've had someone in a completely different walk of life who said, this has been a pet passion project, but I don't know how to get started.
I see.
So it's been quite interesting to see just the sheer diversity in people, bringing in ideas.
Right. And who are the mentors?
There are subject matter experts in specific areas who are visiting mentors.
Okay.
But we get a lot of support from AIC GIM.
Okay.
And there's a full-fledged team at the Incubation Center at GIM.
Okay.
And they come in with the non-technical, non-culinary based skills that an entrepreneur needs.
Okay.
With
But the center is located at Verna. The center
is located at our institute in Verna.
Okay.
Correct.
Also, the issue is, as far as managing the whole business is concerned, what exactly is, your role in KCCA? What do you do as a?
There are so many subject matter experts. I mean, look at Chef Patrick, 40 years of work experience in kitchens. I don't think there's anything I can do in terms of, surpassing what he brings to the table. I see my role as a chief facilitator. If I can facilitate the little bits and bobs that will make his job more effective, I think I've served my purpose.
Right.
And primarily it's to bring in, we've got different businesses within the group. It's to bring in an end-to-end service that hopefully through the journey of a student, from student to employee and beyond, if we can have some influence in shaping that journey, then we've been effective.
So Peter, see, the thing is, there are a lot of people in Goa, especially in South Goa, where in every alternate home, if not every home, somebody is on the ships. Okay, and out of those somebodies on the ships, 90% of them would be cooking, or they would be chefs, or they would all get promoted and become even better and better. And during their off season, or when they're on vacation, they come here and still cook for weddings, for homes and families. So cooking is an absolute passion. But many of them who are on the ships, and they did not get that kind of training. Do you see a situation where even from Goa, before anybody goes to the ships to actually work as cooks and all that, they would invariably kind of come to an institute like this, get trained, and then apply? I mean, does this opportunity now exist for people to do that?
Yes, in a school we do that. Now we have a shorter class where in 6 months we prepare them to go to work on a ship. They do 6 months in a school, they go on an internship, and then they're ready to go on a ship. And that's where actually it's very interesting, because that's where I can put all my 25 years experience on a ship behind the course, and making sure they know all the basics they know to do on a ship. Because now when you arrive on a cruise line to cook, this is not like a home kitchen where the chef will have the opportunity to make his own recipe. On a ship you will get cards, and you will have to follow the ingredient. You have a recipe card. First you have to cook for large quantity. So now the skill you need is to understand the language, to understand the measurement, to understand the technique of cooking, how to use this equipment, because the kitchen, actually we never speak about that in a school, the kitchen is 99% exactly like on a cruise ship. We have the same tilting pan, we have the same equipment, the same mixer, same blender. So the only thing we have different is the range, because we use gas. On a ship it's electric, but that's all. After that everything is like on a ship. And we use the same rule as well for the hygiene. For the ASAP, we have the ASAP form in the morning, they do all the checklists. So they are more ready to work on a ship. And when they arrive, they will be noticed by the chef, because they say, oh, this guy has a little bit more skill. And I'm sure there will be more help, and they will help for them to progress in their career.
But what about people who don't want to go on the ships? If the whole curriculum is kind of bent towards preparing for the cruise liners,
for this part,
okay.
The one who does the B work, the curriculum is more on the technique. Okay. So if they want to work somewhere else, they can work in a restaurant, they can work in a hotel. They will know how to make an egg sashimi, but they will know how to make a curry, because they will have the course for the Indian kitchen. They will know how to make the butter chicken. Actually, I really like the butter chicken now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can I just add to that as well? Sure. So we've talked at length about the degree in culinary management, right? The 3-year degree. Apart from that, we also offer a 6-month international culinary program for someone who may not necessarily want to look at all the management, etc. aspects of a culinary career, but wants to learn the basic skills and start earning. So that 6-month program is not cruise oriented. It's an international culinary program.
I see. Okay.
That's one. The other is what Chef was alluding to, is a cruise culinary program. That one is specifically focused on a career on the cruise. So you do have choices of, do I want to be on the cruise or not?
I see.
We also offer a 3-month transition program for students of conventional hotel management courses. So when they, and I think we all agree, we were talking about the employability of a student.
Yes.
So we say, okay, you've done your 3-year course wherever, do a 3-month bridge program.
Right.
And that equips you with some of the uniqueness in a cruise career.
That's very interesting, yes.
That you do the 3-month program and you go. So, even if you spend 3 years on a degree.
And you get a certificate for that as well.
Of course, of course. Okay. So, you finish a hotel management course and you're wondering what next. So that 3-month bridge helps you there. We also offer a galley utility program, which is usually where a lot of non-chef entrants on cruises start off at, which is a 2-week orientation. Anyone who spent a year in hotels, if they've been in F&B service, if they've been in housekeeping, they've been in kitchen stewarding, any non-chef field, they can get onto a cruise in galley utility with a 2-week transition program.
I see.
So that 2-week program again incorporates in your mindset what it is like to work on a cruise, and then you're on your way. So these are some of the shorter
hospitality management kind of a
correct. So there are different of curriculum and course targets based on what someone would like.
Great. Chef Sri, tell us a little bit more about the talent pool that you've seen in Goa. As you said, you've been here for 10 years, you've interacted with so many people, you must have trained so many people, mentored them. Give us a little broad idea of the pool that's there.
See, one big advantage Goa has that Goa has seen hospitality sector over the last 3-4 decades, right? And as you had mentioned at one stage, Goa has also seen a lot of people going abroad to work on cruise lines and for hotel and hospitality jobs as well, apart from the other sectors. So hospitality and cruise, these two industries are kind of very big in the horizon for Goans, especially the Goan kids who are born and brought up here. And also becomes part of the horizon when people from smaller cities come and work here in the hotels and restaurants. Then they see that, okay, this is another thing that we had not thought about. For them, Goa was the destination to come and work.
Right.
But that becomes the part of the next step process. Goa, so like in other cities, Goa is already bent towards hospitality and cruise line business.
Right.
We don't have to really tell them that this is the option or this is another option. They already think about it when they are young, because they have so many of their neighbors, their family members already working in such businesses. And there is good opportunities even in Goa. They don't have to go abroad for that. That is the first step which is already taken. That is easier for the culinary schools or the hotel management schools that is here in Goa. Also for family members to tell them that, okay, this option is already existing. Easier. First step is already done.
Sure.
Which is a difficult thing in other places. In other places, the first career option would be probably, engineering, doctorate, which used to be there, then IT, and then other things. And then hospitality was one of the lesser known option.
Yes.
So here it is easier. So talent pool also, I think, is a bigger pool because it has more draw. Since the awareness is more, the draw is also faster.
Right.
So the talent pool is bigger.
Right.
And Goa being Goa, it is attracting people from all across the nation. And also chefs from abroad now,
Correct.
Who are coming to work in Goa and train us.
Yeah.
So we are happy to be here in Goa. Talent pool definitely growing.
Okay. Siddharth, would you like to add to that?
Well, I've had the pleasure of calling Goa home for about 13 years now.
Yes.
I think one of the, in addition to the cultural impact that he was talking about, your hospitality is an industry of pride. I know friends from other parts of India, when they tell their parents, I want to go do a hospitality course, they'll say, Kya bawarchi banega? I don't see that happening in Goa. It's a matter of pride that my child is looking at a career in hospitality. I think that helps to attract the brightest and the best.
Okay. Now I'll just switch to a completely offbeat question, though related completely to the work that you all do. A lot of people have told us, as consumers of good food and writers and so on and so forth, we realize that one basic problem, and I could be wrong, but that's an impression, that we don't get enough fresh ingredients always. I mean, you may not get the best mutton, you may not get the best cuts of vegetables. The supplies are a bit of an issue. Now, for an institute like yours, where proper ingredients is so important, and I'll ask this to both of you and to you, firstly, is this correct? If it is correct, then what are the challenges and how do you overcome it?
Okay, challenges. I do not have so much challenges for the ingredient. Probably when it comes to the beef or the meat, that's normal. I understand that part. The rest for the vegetable, honestly,
It's all good.
It's all good. And like I say, sometimes when I drive on the road, there's people selling vegetable, even I don't know what they are. I tell the driver, please stop. We have a look. I bring it to the school, I buy some, and I'm trying and asking people around what they are and everything. So selection here of vegetable, produce, I feel like in my town in Bordeaux. I'm from France, so in Bordeaux, I have the same. Of course, not the same vegetable with different point of quality and stuff like that, but I'm okay. I'm very satisfied as a chef.
Okay.
I'm more less satisfied as a chef here with the ingredient. I will say ownership with the ingredient. Ownership is 200 times more difficult.
Right. Okay. What are your views of this?
I agree to your point to a certain extent where, yes, sourcing is a little bit of a challenge because Goa does not produce and Goa does not have some of the raw materials.
Right.
Like mutton consumption is not so high.
Correct.
Automatically there will be no producers for it. So it is coming from across the border.
Correct.
Same way, a lot of vegetables which don't grow because of the soil and the climate here, it doesn't grow here, it doesn't grow here. So it comes from across the border. But if you know your vendors and if you've been here for a while, you find your feet.
Right.
So then it doesn't remain like a challenge forever. I mean, of course, there are challenges that is across the whole world.
Right.
Sourcing is getting more difficult across the whole world because everything doesn't grow everywhere. And especially when you want things seasonal, you'll have to look at it more carefully. Now things are coming out of the greenhouses and things.
Sure.
So not as difficult as it was made out to be earlier.
Correct.
But you'll manage.
We've got 5 minutes more to the program, so we'll do the last segment now. Siddharth, if you could just sum up what KCCA is, number one, and number two, what skills should a young student bring with him or her to the table before he joins, and what do you think he or she will add on when they leave KCCA?
When I went to hotel school, and I realized when I went into the workforce later, so little of what I learned in college was actually relevant to what I was using at my workplace. You spend so much time learning, and I'm sure you would have, chef, caviar and its 13 accompaniments. I've never served caviar a day in my career. I don't know how many times you have. So, it wasn't relevant. I think what excites me about what we're doing at KCCA is that we're cutting out all the riffraff. We're saying we'll focus on exactly what an employer in the business will look for from a young chef. And dedicate our entire course curriculum and the time to honing those skills from people who worked in the industry. What he talks and what he teaches is exactly what he's gone through at work. So that's what excites me about our course itself. The fact that we offer a 3-year degree, we offer short-term courses, we have different offerings for different needs through the journey of a student. So that's exciting. What we ask students to bring at the beginning, I think, is just attitude. Whether you're hiring someone or you're enrolling someone in a course, you hire for attitude, and then aptitude can be taught.
Right.
That's literally the only expectation that we have.
Right. Chef Sunit, your last comments on this, and also a little bit about elaborate a little bit about the prospects that you see for your art. As more and more young students get into this.
I'll say the first thing is the world is waiting for chefs. The world is asking for good chefs. And the only thing required is passion. The rest of it can be taught. The rest of it can be learnt. But if you have a passion for food, a person will excel in this field. We've seen examples of many people who had no formal training, no formal education in a field, but excel because they wanted to do good food.
Right.
They were interested in good food, and they wanted to serve people. Right. And that is what comes out really shining then. And now with so many colleges, colleges like such, who are teaching you the direction also to become a good chef faster. You bring passion, you bring your interest in food, you'll succeed.
Chef Patrick, the last words from you, and I have a specific question to ask. You could have been anywhere in the world. You could have been anywhere in Europe, you could have been in your hometown, which is a fascinating place for anybody who loves to eat and cook and enjoy. Rather than doing that, what made you come and join an institute like KCCA and teach at this stage of your career, away from your home, away from family maybe? What gives you that drive to do this?
He actually answered the question. Because in my country, to be a chef, you have to be very passionate, because they do not make it easy for us, I have to say. So you are very passionate and you really have to do for it. So when the cruise line stopped and I was home, taking care of my garden and my family, it made me think about, I'm getting old. And in my country as well, since I'm a master chef, it's one of the rules we have to train people. Then came this offer from Kamaxi, and I say, why not? I went to India. I'm going to be the first one to do it. So here I am, and that's why I'm doing it. And that's what I want to bring. I bring 40-something years of passion of cooking. I've been, I believe, about 80% of the world, And then I want to teach that to them and to make them see by myself. Because sometimes I give example of my life when I talk to them, because I tell them, go out and travel the world, go back to your country, of course, and then you can bring something different to your place, you know, and that's what it is. This is a passion. You enjoy cooking. Yeah.
Yeah, so chef has spoken about passion, but I think there's one more ingredient that comes into this. I think there's a little bit of, or if not little, I think a lot of adventurism which also comes into this, because this is a journey and it's an adventure at the same time, not just for him who's traveled miles, but for all my other two guests, because ultimately it's a giant leap to think about other people's futures, other people's careers, and to make the world a better place to live and eat. And I think the KCCA is doing a phenomenal job in that. And one just wishes that there are more such initiatives all across the country, because there's space. And as Chef Sunit says, that the world is waiting for chefs, and we just hope that more and more of them come from Goa and from India to feed into that big universe which is waiting for us. Thank you so much, and thank you to all my panelists for their insights into the profession and into KCCA as well. Thank you so much.